somewhere about saving your.
There was something about the episodes, and I thought they might have mentioned. Anyway, hello everyone listening to us.
Yeah.
On social media. Appreciate it.
If anyone is listening,
Yeah.
We are live yet another week. What was it last? Oh no, we were on last week. It was 2 weeks ago that they gave us a problem. Yeah. Well, we probably won't have to worry about that.
No.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
There we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It was right on.
Blog Talk Radio.
Really? Wow. Oh.
Yes.
This is All About Wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically, what we're trying to do on this program is just trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
We really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on. Here's Ron.
All right. We're having beautiful weather here, and they are happy. It's just gorgeous here. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler. Don't know what's happening with the tropical storm. I'm hearing that if it goes through the Yucatan Peninsula, it will tear it apart, and then by the time it gets out in the Gulf, and the steering current's going to send it toward us, but we'll just get rain. So, and that's from Channel 13, which is our Fox station here. Paul Delgado, which is the weatherman on it, and he's sending out things on Facebook, and that's what he said, the latest report. So, we got beautiful weather all around us anyway. We might have a day of rain. They say next Wednesday the rain's supposed to come through, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, welcome to All About Wine. We are live. It is now 7:02 on Thursday, November the 14th. So if you're listening to us now, thanks. If you're listening to it in archives, and that's cool too, because a lot of people do. We heard some news this week. Blog Talk Radio has been our carrier or platform. How do you refer to it? I don't know. For years now. Wow. For
15 years since the show started.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. 15 years. We switched over to Blog Talk Radio. We had who was it we started with?
1,000 Mics, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, I think that was one of them we did for a while.
Talk Shoe.
But there was
one. Yeah, Talk Shoe.
Yeah.
They're still
for
on.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, Talk Shoe is. Who else?
Oh, wow.
That's the only ones I can think of.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 we did at the beginning, and then we found Blog Talk Radio, and we hooked up with them. We've been with them now for 15 years, and they've done a good job most of the time. Over the last couple of months, we've had more issues than we care to think about. I mean, they just wouldn't let us into the program. I've had to call guests and tell them that we can't get in. They tried to get in, and it was been a hassle. A couple of weeks ago, it happened. As actually, a matter of fact, Natalie was going to be a guest. We couldn't get connected, so I called her, and she was very gracious. Everyone's been very good about it, but still, though, it's been a Blog Talk Radio programming glitch, and so we haven't been able to get in. We received a letter, an email. Oh, no, that wasn't an email. Was that an email? Yeah,
yes.
I guess it was.
Yeah.
We received an email from Blog Talk Radio saying, thank you for the wonderful years we spent together. We are closing down as of January the 31st. So, if you're used to listening to us on Blog Talk Radio, you may do so for another, 2.5 months, and then there will be no more Blog Talk Radio. So, we are going to be searching, actually, I should say Mike's going to be searching since he's so absolutely wonderful at doing this, and for a new platform.
Yeah.
Actually, if you have any suggestions of platforms out there too, send us an email, allaboutwine101@gmail.com, and we'll check it out. We're looking for someone where people can call in. We're looking at some place where we can get more than one guest at a time. We can get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. Usually it's 5 that they allow you up to. Excuse me. And then if it costs, that's okay, but we don't want it outrageous. We're not going to spend an enormous amount of money for the platform, but if it costs, that's okay. But if you know of any out there, then, or if you're using one that you're particularly happy with or something, drop us an email. Let us know. We'll check it out, because we are now actively searching for a new platform.
Mm-hmm.
Blog Talk Radio will, like I say, end the end of January, and so we will no longer have them available for us. And the Blog Talk Radio, most of the time they've been very good. We've gotten calls from overseas. We've done all sorts of stuff with them, and they've really been pretty good. So, am I still clicking by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
I am?
Yeah, it's very, very loud.
Oh, geez. See, you're probably hearing me click, too, and we figured that must be a Blog Talk Radio thing. I got a call. Excuse me. So, Blog Talk Radio is leaving us in 2.5 months. If you know anything, give us a call. We'll start working on different ones and seeing what we can come up with, and we'll be working on something new. We had a guest tonight, Lucy Devlin from Naked Wines. She was not able to make it. We're going to reschedule her probably in next month, December. Oh, excuse me again. Oh, I just got this catch in my throat. Let me get a drink. There we go. I hope it cures it. So, Lucy's going to be back with us next month, and we'll talk to her then. In fact, my engineer and my wife ordered a 6-pack of Naked Wine, 6 half case of it, and it came in today, and I had to take her to a doctor's appointment. We weren't here when it arrived, so we didn't get a chance to have it this evening. But that's okay, because we will have it by the time we get Lucy on the show. Yeah, she ordered it, a few days ago, and didn't expect it until tomorrow, and it came in today. So we have no guests tonight for the first time in a month and a half or so. We've been getting a lot of guests, but I got a few things to tell you, a few things to pass on to you, and some stuff to pass on. Start with today is National Pickle Day. For what it's worth, it is National Pickle Day. So have yourself a crunchy deal while we're doing the show. Is this which one I want? No, this isn't. This isn't the page I want. It's just the page I want. Yeah, okay. Wine Spectator every year comes out with their wines of the year, and they have been counting them down this week tomorrow is number one. I don't know what it is. I didn't have any insight into it, but tomorrow's number one. So I'm going to go through the top 10 or top 9 for you here and let you know what. Now, this is Wine Spectator, not Wine Enthusiast, Wine Spectator. And these are the, starting from 10, these are the top wines for them for the year. Okay, number 10 is Ramy, R-A-M-E-Y, Ramy Chardonnay, Russian River Valley 2022. They gave it's a score of 94. Price is $50 a bottle. They made 7,442 cases, so there's quite a big batch they made on this. It's Russian River Valley's cool site, so Chardonnays grow very well there. Grapes were pressed whole clusters and fermented with ambient yeast, so it wasn't added yeast. It was malolactic conversion 100%. They fined it, but they did not filter it. Fining means putting it through a tight filter. Fined it, but did not filter it. And it's a mix of 5 vineyards. I'm going to read the vineyards to you because you probably won't care about the difference anyway. So that was number 10, and number 9 was G.D. Vajro, V-A-J-R-A. Vajro. Barola Albi, 2020 vintage. Score was 94. $42 is the price of it. And it was 7,000 cases they made on that. Again, a pretty big yield. Sourced from parcels ranging 1,250 feet up to 1,585 in elevation. Were macerated for 1 to 3 months and aged 26 months in Slovenian oak cask. They said here, Slovenian oak cask. That's pretty cool. So, big cask too, 4,000, 5,000, and 7,500 liter Slovenian oak cask. And they are saying that displays cherry, raspberry, rose, iron, juniper, and hay flavors, underscored by vibrant acidity. Sometimes that vibrant means there's just too much acid on it. To me, I don't know. It could get carried away. This is good from 2028 to 2049, and they imported 3,500 cases, so you might be able to find it from the Piedmont, Italy region. Let's back up. There's something I didn't tell you on that last one. Here we go. Okay. Sonoma County issue date was July 31st. So let's drink now through 2036. So that's what I'm going to tell you on the first one, that Chardonnay. Okay, and then number 9 was Barolo. This number 8 is Williams Sellium, S-E-L-Y-E-M, Sellium. Pinot Noir, Russian River Valley Estate Road Neighbors. Well, that's a pretty big name to slap on a label, isn't it? 2022, score 95, price per bottle $72. Wow. 2,151 cases were made. And let's see, give me the highlights. Okay, relying on a modest percentage new oak, the East Side Road Neighbors Bottling delivers the winery's signature precocious fruit and energetic feel. You can't make that stuff up. I'm just reading it. Tasting notes. This red is packed, featuring juicy and delicious mulberry, blackberry, and cherry. While rose hip, rooibos tea, and licorice snap accents fuel the finish. I'm just reading it. Like I say, it says also shows a gloss of toast for added effect. Just a gloss now, not enough. Fruit easily keeps the upper hand throughout. Drink now through 2034. If you've listened to me, you know that some of these descriptions, I think they get a little carried away. And I think that when they do that, people start looking for things like this, and they're going, wait a minute, I'm not seeing any licorice snap on the accents here, and a rooibos tea. Well, that's great if you've ever had it, but if you've never had rooibos tea, how the heck are you going to know if you're tasting rooibos tea or not? Okay, so descriptions that they give to these things, I think sometimes need to be reeled in a little bit instead of going crazy because. So, but of course, that's my opinion. Number 7, domaine de vue telegraphy. Okay. Domaine du view VIEUX telegraphy TELEGRAPHE. Châteauneuf-du-Pape, La Crue, 2020. 94 score, $114 a bottle, 7,500 cases made. It's sourced from 60 to 110-year-old vines, which is pretty cool. I like old vines. I think it does give it a special taste. So they say this has an aromatic appeal with dusty earth and singed incense, fresh cherry and red currant flavors, gutsy grip on the palate, and cast on spine, bringing firm and shape underlying power. Slightly old school. This needs time to unfurl. Contains Grenache, Malverde, Syrah, and Cinsault. So it's quite a combination there. Best from 2025 through 2035. So good as soon as you get it, basically. 2,500 cases were imported. Excuse me. Special designation. This is a collectible. That's going to age for 10 years. I don't. Okay, number 6. Drohan, Oregon Rose Rock. Drohan, Drouhin. Oregon is Oregon. Rose Rock. It's a Pinot Noir Eola Amity Hills. EOLA Amity. AMITY Hills. 2022. 94 is the score. $44. Cheapest one yet. 15,100 cases were made. The Eola Amity Pinot Noirs are noted for their powerful structure, but Drohan strives to accentuate the house's graceful style. This was aged in French oak barrels, 20% of which were new barrels, for only 10 months, so not a very long time. Well, it's a 22, this is 24, so it can age you for a real long time. Tasting notes say supple and elegantly structured, with detailed raspberry and cherry flavors accented by rose petal, brown baking spices, and orange peel as this glides toward polished tannins. Drink it now through 2032. Highly recommended special destination from the Willamette Valley. So it's drink now. We're getting a lot of Pinot Noirs on this list, it seems. I mean, for only the top 10, a lot of them seem to be Pinot Noirs. Number 5, Chimney Rock. Cabernet Sauvignon Stag's Leap District 2021. This is the area where the judgment of Paris for the Cabernet came out of, the Stag's Leap District. Let's see. If you drive through Napa, you might notice the Cape Dutch style Chimney Rock Winery. It's debuted in 1984 and 1985 vintages were the first two that they came out with. They went to the holistic farming, no more herbicides or anything. 2021s are the best set of wines yet out of them, all derived from 100% estate fruit. This case production is ample and it's priced reasonable for the category. 94 is the score, $120 for the wine, 13,363 cases. That price is reasonable. You know, and that's funny, 120, it really is. You're going to get anything from the Stag's Leap District, especially Cabernet, you're going to spend that much for it, if not more. Okay, sorry again. Tasting notes, super lush and polished and filled with creamy textured acai, mulberry, and cassis notes. Laced with alluring hints of violet, iris, and anise. Hints of violet. All of them are, you know, we put 2 or 3 that say violet. I don't think I've ever tasted one that brought up violet. This offers a melted licorice note on the finish, but the fruit wins out easily. Drink now through 2037. Yeah. Chimney Rock. Stag's Leap is a good district. It's expensive, though. Just about everything out of there is. Number 4. Another Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. This is Faust, F-A-U-S-T, the Faust. Is reasonably new. 2002 was the first year that they made wines, first vintage they did Faust there. So this is Faust Cabernet Sauvignon Napa Valley 2021. Score 94, price $65, and 50,000 cases were made. That's a lot, really. The Faust Conefield site, which is where this came from, is certified organic, and it was in 2021, which is the year that this was made. So it's the first year it was certified organic. It's a blend along with fruit from Yountville, Oakville, Rutherford, and other AVAs. These are all about the southern part of Napa Valley, down toward the beginning of it. It's a category known for its triple-digit prices, but this is, really good. This is what it says here, triple-digit. Tasting notes, packed and broad in feel, packed and broad, with a Grenache note draped over black currant, blackberry, and steeped cherry. Licorice root and alder smoke flavors check in on the finish as the fruit pumps through, ending with a flash of violet. There's that violet again. Hard to resist now, but this has some development ahead. Drink now through 2036. Special designation says highly recommended. It's a good price, $65. If you're into spending that much for Cabernet, this is probably one of the more exciting ones I think I've read on this list so far. Number 3. is Antinori. 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 Is the Toscano Tignanello. Toscano Tignanello. 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 2021 vintage. Score 97. Price $180. 29,167 cases were made. This is a blending of very common grape varieties here: Sangiovese, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc. That's a good combination of grapes there. It says here it's a game changer for Tuscany and Italy. It says it remains one of the greatest reds out of Italy. So, wow, for $180, it better be outstanding. Tasting notes is laced with pure cherry, strawberry, graphite, and tobacco aromas and flavors. It's supported by a backbone of vibrant acidity and taut, refined tannins. Vibrant acidity. These winemakers who like to bring that acid out so it just bites you. I don't know. Everything is framed by vanilla and toasty oak in the best sense, revealing harmony with a long orange tinge finish and, yes, even drinkability at this stage. Best to give this a few more years in the bottle, though. It is best from 2027 through 2045. They're importing 11,083 cases to the country, so you can probably find that wherever you are. After importing that many cases, it's probably going to be distributed throughout the country. It was issued on October 31st. Wow, that's recent. It's only the 14th of November. So, right on top of that one. $180, though. I don't know. It's hard pressed to spend that much money on wine, though, isn't it? Number 2, Bayou Vineyard. There I go. Bayou Vineyard. Beaulieu. Bayou. And that's how it's pronounced. The L's sound Bayou. I've had people on Bayou Vineyard that tell me that's how it's pronounced. So I've always been very cautious about that. Bayou Vineyards, Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa Valley, George de la Tour, Private Reserve. 2021 vintage. George de la Tour is a long history. It's always great wines. I think the first vintage was here it is, 1936. I was going to say 35, but 36. At the time, de la Tour hired the legendary winemaker Andrei Chekhlistov, and in 1938, and Chekhlistov went on to bottle for 35 years there. There's some fantastic benchmark vintages from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. He was a legend. Whenever I first started getting into wine, Chekhlistov was the name that was thrown around quite a bit. He was still alive and still making wines, and everybody was just, thrilled to see a new one come out. It wasn't as much, but everything wasn't much then, so I guess percentage-wise, it was about the same. Bayou Vineyards went through a rough spell, though, after he left. In the 80s and 90s, they really... I was disappointed in their wines, as was many other people. They still sold, but they didn't do the high end as much, and they just had sort of pedestrian wines available, which was really sad. There's some very good vineyard wines out there now. You can find them all over the place, but just spend a little bit more money and get a little bit more price review, and you'll really find a big difference because they are some great wines. At a Renaissance, and they built a new winery in 2008. I've seen pictures. I haven't been there. I've seen pictures of it, and it's, oh my gosh, it's something. It really is. But in 2016, Blue Vineyards was acquired by Treasury Wine Estates, which is big. They own a lot of wineries, and really surprised everybody that Blue even considered selling out. I guess the family was saying, okay, it's time to get our money and go lay on the beach and drink some of our good vintages, and better go with that. But when Treasury Wine Estates started, they got a new winemaker, Trevor Devlin, and he was hired in 2017, and he really started to put out some classic wines again. So, you know, they've tried to build a story behind Blue Vineyards. I've always liked them. I've always visited them. I just used to spend a lot of time. I met some of the family. They were very, very accommodating. They would talk with you. I mean, you knew they were busy, but they always took the time to talk with me, and so I was always impressed with them. Tasting note on this: packed with dark, winey flavors of blackcurrant and blackberry paste, underscored with alder, sweet tobacco, warm paving stone, and black licorice notes. And guess what? It's got violet accents too. I'm gonna have to check out this violet. The polished finish makes it accessible now, but there's plenty of life ahead. Drink it now through 2042. And the issue date on this wine, November the 15th. So you can't buy it now. You can't buy it until tomorrow. They're not putting it out officially until tomorrow. So there you go. $170, a Blue Vineyard George de la Tour Private Reserve 2021. Their George de la Tour Private Reserves have always been great. I've had some over the years, and they have always been outstanding. So I'm always impressed with it. And then number one, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to see what number one is. But that is the top 9 so far from Wine Spectator out of the top 10. So, and they have a top 100 list for it. I'm not going to go through it. There's no way I'm going to bore you with reading you the top 100. But they're the top 100 lists listed here. And I was looking at the other day, some wonderful wines on, and some of them the price is starting to drop down too in their top 100. Excuse me. And so you can probably find some reasonably priced wines at a very good score and stuff that you'd really enjoy. For example, number 20 on the list is a Purple Hands Pinot Noir from Willamette Valley, Lone Oak Ranch. And it's rated 94, 2021 vintage, but it's only $30. And then the next one on the list is a Babiche Sauvignon Blanc Marlborough Black Label. This is from Australia. It's $15, rated scored a 93. So yeah, there's a lot of them on the list that are really reasonably priced. They're up there in the good category. So, but if I remember next week, I will try to remember to send you, tell you about number one, what number one was. And let's see. what was I reading? Was that was 2023? I was reading it just now on that list. It was 23 I was looking at. 24 will be the top 124 will be out Monday, the 18th. Wow. So, but yeah, some people like lists, some people don't like lists. It's always fun to see what they pick. Mine would all be much, much less expensive than what they had there. So that's what I would look at. Okay, let me go into something else here. Let me clear so I can find what I want. Okay, top wines. That's not what I want. And okay, it's been no, it's not that either. Let's go to this. This is what I want. Yeah, this is what I want. Before I get into that, I told you I ordered a book and got a book, The Very Good News About Wine by Tony Edwards. He's an authoritative health evidence. The health authorities don't tell you. This is the full title of the book. I've been reading through this. It's been taking me time to read through it because I've been highlighting all sorts of stuff. It's a very interesting book. The fact that he documents everything. He doesn't just go through and say, this is the way it is. He goes through and cites all sorts of different studies and everything else and comes up with definitive answers of how wine is good for you. And, and I've read you, this has been an ongoing topic with me over the years here. One study will come out and say that wine's no good for you, that you should stay away from it. Another study comes out and says, wine is wonderful and it's going to help you and all. He has dug into different topics and wrote it down. I'm about a little over halfway through the book now, and so I'm not going to give you a full report on the book, but there's a few areas here that I do want to address. Let's see. I'm trying to find it here. Okay. Okay. I haven't finished this chapter, but let me just tell you this. He says this is a chapter on weight. He said this chapter is sure to surprise you, although wine, like all types of alcohol, contains a lot of calories. The scientific evidence is that it does not put on weight. Strange but true. And he goes on and on different things. That just want to throw that out there because everybody's always worried about the calories in wine and all the calories that it contains. And, I drink a lot of wine, so therefore I'm going to gain a bunch of weight. No, according to this Tony Edwards, it's not going to work that way. So, enjoy the wine. Cancer. The first chapter here was on cancer, and he goes into different areas of cancer, and he cites different studies and everything else. And at the end, the summary, let me read you what the book says about the summary. Wine drinking and cancer is a very complicated picture, partly because the evidence for a connection is so contradictory. Some studies say drinking increases the risk, others say the reverse. Also, much depends on how much wine you drink and type of cancer. Heavy long-term wine drinking will increase the risk of cancers of the pancreas, mouth, throat, and gullet. But moderate intake may reduce the risk of the last. A minority of heavy wine drinkers are at risk for liver cirrhosis. Heavy wine drinking is associated with a marginal increase of the risk of cancers of the liver and possibly the breast. That's heavy wine drinkers. Moderate wine drinking is associated with a decrease in the risk of cancers of the lung and, in some studies, of the breast. Again, that's moderate. Any level of wine intake will have no effect on stomach or bowel cancer risk, and some studies show it will reduce the risk. Any level of alcohol intake will decrease the risk of cancer of the kidney, thyroid, and blood. The carcinogenic effect of all alcohols can be largely prevented by maintaining adequate levels of vitamin B9, which is folate, in the bloodstream. So that sums up what it says about cancer, but he cites different studies here. And keep in mind the amount you're drinking. And I noticed one thing. He cites studies from everywhere, from the United States, from Sweden, from Scandinavian countries, from France, from Italy, from Spain, all these different studies and all these different things, and pretty much come up with same results. Here's mountain throat and gullet cancers. Of all the cancers, the head and neck cancers in med speak are far and away the most obviously caused by alcohol. The people most at risk for getting cancer in these areas are the unfortunates, are the fools, depending on your point of view, who both smoke and drink spirits and liquor. Wine drinkers have a reduced risk of the two main cancers of the gullet compared to people who never touch a drop of alcohol, up to 20% less risk of squamous cell cancer, and a staggering 50% reduction for adenocarcinoma. So, now it's fascinating. Liver cancer. They concluded that drinking up to the equivalent of half a bottle of wine a day has no liver cancer consequences at all. Double that intake does increase liver cancer risk, but only by a mere 22%. So he's talking a bottle here. He's talking, when he says moderate drinker, he's referring to a little less than a half a bottle, and light drinkers a quarter of a bottle, which there's six glasses of wine in a bottle. So, 3 glasses of wine a day is really not outrageous if you think about it. Liver cirrhosis. The cirrhosis connection is cast on. There's consistent evidence that the more you drink, the greater your risk of cirrhosis, a so-called dose response, which is a causal clincher. So, cirrhosis of the liver can or does come into play with drinking. But it says, yet again, the data reveal a bit of a paradox. Like other alcohols, wine can indeed cause cirrhosis, but unlike other alcohols, can also prevent it. A discovery first made in a huge long-term study by Danish scientists in 2004. However, it all depends on the dose. Prevention occurs below moderate intakes, about a third of a bottle a day. Above that, the risk of cirrhosis rises, but much less steeply than with beer and spirits. So, let's see. Bowel cancer. When it comes to wine events, the already tiny COC risk not only disappears, but also does something extraordinarily. It reverses it. Prostate. I keep on putting the R in the wrong spot. Prostate cancer. Moderate red wine intake was associated with the bowel risks of progression to lethal prostate. What is moderate? It's a third of a bottle of wine a day. So if you're lucky to be diagnosed with prostate cancer, wine seems to be as good a medication as the best pharmaceutical drugs around, and with none of the emasculating side effects. Stomach cancer, saying the same thing. Pancreatic cancer, the same thing. Most of the studies, I'll finish reading it, and I'll give you more of a summary of the whole thing. But most of the studies that he has cited here basically are saying that it's wine that is good for you. Wine, not spirits, not beer. A lot of the times he quotes things here that the spirits and beer are as detrimental as heavy drinking. I don't know why. He has there's a summary in the back where he talks about all this stuff, but wine can be good for you, and everything else is obviously bad for you. But I will go into it more, and as I read through the book and highlight more things, I'll tell you more about it. La Prima, named American Winery of the Year by Wine Enthusiast magazine. They've been around for a number of years. If you can find La Prima a lot of places. They have the wines in grocery stores and things like that. So it's possible to find it in a lot of different places. It's a good wine. It's not outrageously priced, which is another good thing about it. And it's been doing very well on the sustainability and the conservancy and protection of wildlife and all that stuff. Organic and just doing a whole bunch of stuff. They've been great on all that. The vineyards are cutting edge practices, and they've been a great winery, and they put out some very, very good wines. So La Crema is by Wine Enthusiast, is the American Wine of the Year. Cool for them. All right. Excuse me. And so there you go. Let's see. Let's find something. A judge rules against small Napa winery in a contentious legal battle over wine tastings. For the right to host wine tastings. The Napa Valley. I didn't see this one earlier. A 5-year debate between Napa Valley and Hoops, Hoopes, boils down to whether small wineries established before 1990, and that's when Napa County enacted sweeping winery regulations, have a right to offer tastings without a use permit. Some winery owners farmers like Hoops believe that right was grandfathered into an exemption created for small wineries. And the county has maintained that this exemption does not include the right to host wine tasting, but its enforcement of the rules has been inconsistent. Two other wineries attempted to join Hoops, and but they were denied by the judge. The three wineries then filed a lawsuit against Napa Valley, citing constitutional rights violation, which, they're not going to do their job. The judge's decision ultimately came down to Napa County Code enacted in 1980, which prohibits a small winery from conducting public tours, providing wine tastings, selling wine-related items, and holding social events of a public nature. Whoa, that's pretty inclusive there. And Hoops was offering tastings in violation of her winery's entitlement, and the judge ruled in favor of Napa, not the winery. It is, it's in there. Let's see. Hoops testified at trial that she ultimately decided against the renovation, which would make it a bigger winery, which discovered the process would cost between $500,000 and $1 million. Evidence shows that she knew the limitations on her entitlement before purchasing the winery, and therefore she needed to qualify for the use permit by building on. Napa wins another one. That's not unusual. Napa Valley is big and powerful. They're like Disney World. You don't try to copy Mickey Mouse into something without getting permission from Disney World or Disneyland. And the same thing with Napa. You don't try to do something there. You don't try to do something there unless you follow the rules and get permission. Okay. 30th annual Livermore Valley Wine Auction raises over $375,000 for local children's nonprofits. Good for them. I think they're making more and more money every year. In Italy, no alcohol wines are still a taboo. Okay, that might be a good thing. The future our Vineyard of the Future announced its first projects to address core changes in the wine industry. White wine surge pushes into winter. White wine has really been catching on a lot, but more so right now. And it's really coming stronger, they're saying here in this article, into winter. Sauvignon Blanc is leaving all the others in selling, but Chardonnay has increased by 4% in the U.S. and 8% in the U.S., 4% globally. And Riesling has jumped its share up to 11% and globally, and 17% in the U.S. So white wine is making a surge. If you're not drinking Rieslings or you haven't had any lately, do so. It is really a great wine, and it comes in a couple of styles. You can get dry Rieslings, or you can get sweet Rieslings. And so be sure you know what you're getting on the bottle. They will tell you, so be sure you know what you're getting on the bottle before you buy something. But let's see. white wine is continuing its push into winter. There's still a lot of white wines out there. Okay, let's see. Do I want anything else from this one? Yeah, I'm talking about Chablis in a down market, and it's catching on. It's doing the depth and versatility of Sangiovese. Here's a good wine that is not really caught on that much in the United States yet. It's Italian. If you see an Italian Sangiovese, it's well worth the purchase. Let's see, vineyard. This looks interesting. The remarkable rise of vineyards in, of all places, Nebraska. Let me clear all these ads out so I can read the article. Turn back the clock to the early 1900s, you will find Nebraska was home to hundreds of acres of grapevines dotting southeast Nebraska along the Missouri River. Practice and traditions of growing grapes was carried to the New World by immigrants. These grapes eventually turned into wine that emulated the Old World style. However, due to prohibition, weather incidents, and the increase of row crops in the area, the practices of cultivating grapes and creating fine wines soon started to falter. And the art of grape growing winemaking in the Midwest, especially in Nebraska, stopped. But almost a century later, here we are. And they're picking up Renaissance. It began in the mid-1990s. And for the last 30 years, what can you imagine? You say the mid-1990s, and that's 30 years ago. Oh, my gosh, that's just... but the last 3 years, been an explosion of wineries across the state. Nebraska now has 29 wineries, which is quite a few for Nebraska. The dollars and cents, it says the employees are earning an average wage of $41,800 with benefits. So they're pretty decent jobs. Now, this is the Midwest. You don't have the outrageous prices you do around the coast, around the country. And it's a major tourist attraction. Nebraska's wine country generates 14,000 tourist visits and $4.75 million in tourism. Just fantastic amount of people visiting. I've been to some Nebraska wineries a number of years ago. They didn't have 29 of them. I think there was only like 10 of them when I visited. So, but they put out some pretty decent wines there. Yeah, they really do. They're breaking stereotypes, it says, bringing high-quality wines to enhance Nebraska's culture and tradition. The industry is driven by the Nebraska Winery and Grape Growers Association. And I think I talked to a couple wineries in Nebraska. It's in the archives. You can check the archives out and probably find where I talked to a couple wineries in Nebraska. Pretty sure I did because I visited with them and asked them if they wanted to be on the show, and they did. So I talked to a couple of wineries there. If they're still in existence, I don't know. Wineries tend to do that. They tend to disappear. So it's a new thing. Nebraska has been going whole hog for 40 years now, or 30 years now. Wow. Wineries in Nebraska, who would think? And a picture of James Arthur Vineyards. Okay. We got Boucher Nouveau Day coming up, don't we? Isn't that November? What's that? November? 21st. Okay, there it is. November 21st. Beaujolais Nouveau Day, and that's next Wednesday. No, Thursday during the show next Thursday. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Next week will be Beaujolais Nouveau Day. November 21st. It's if you're not familiar with Beaujolais Nouveau, let me give you a quick lesson on Beaujolais Nouveau, and then we'll say goodnight. But Beaujolais, a great wine growing region in France, it has continuously came out with some great wines over the years, high quality Gamay, and they've been doing this for years. Well, they decided that they're going to do a early release, a new release, Nouveau, new, Beaujolais Nouveau, the Beaujolais wines Nouveau, going to come out in an early release. So they started to release these wines in November. Well, it has evolved into a fanfare, worldwide fanfare. It actually honors the nature of the wine and highlights the first release of the harvest, and it's meant to be enjoyed in its youth and not get old. Beaujolais Nouveaux are new Beaujolais to be drank now and not to be stored, not to be put on the shelf. You buy them and you enjoy them over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and if you have any left by the Valentine's Day, then they're probably getting too old. You should drink them by now. That's the purpose of Beaujolais Nouveau. There have been some fantastic vintages, and there have been some really sucky vintages, but they have come out with it year after year. There's 2 or 3 companies that are the big ones that you can find at the store every year, the ones with the pretty flowery painted labels. They always come out every year. I can't think of the name of the particular ones. But Beaujolais Nouveau, and they make a big deal out of it. Okay, they make a big deal out of it. If you watch the news, you'll see some channels will say, "Here's the plane in the Beaujolais region of France being loaded, or in Paris being loaded from the wines coming out of Beaujolais in France, and it's taking off so that it will arrive in the States and be able to be distributed around the country so that it can be bought on the 21st of November. And then they get in the country here on the 21st of November, and some liquor stores stay open until midnight so people can come in and buy the Beaujolais Nouveau and try and taste it and all that." Excuse me. And it's a big deal. Or it was a big deal. About 8-9 years ago, it stopped being a big deal. Now, I don't know why. I've never bought the thing on right away like that. It's never been something that I had to rush down and get it because the stores have always had enough. And so within a week after they came out, I'd be by a wine shop or something. I'd pick up a couple Beaujolais Nouveaux. But there is a wine store not too far a little small one that I frequent often. I've got to know the owner 5 years ago. Let's see, this is 24, so this was 19. So yeah, 5 years ago, I went in and asked him a couple of days after the 21st if he had any Beaujolais Nouveau. He goes, "No, he doesn't order it anymore." I go, "What?" He goes, "No." He said, "It never sells." He said, "I used to have this enormous display inside the door here, and the thing would slowly disappear, and I'd get rid of all the wines within a month." He said, "But then it started to slow down, and I ended up having wines 4 and 5 months later that I couldn't sell." He said, "So I started to cut back more and more on my orders, and I still had wines left over until," he said, in 2016, he ordered 2 cases, and he ended up with a half a case left over from those 2 cases. So he orders a case after that, and he said he usually sells it out. Usually not a problem. He sells it out, but it has definitely taken a turn for the, well, I can't say for the worst, I can say for the uninspired, the people who really, oh, it's Beaujolais Nouveau, and let it go at that. Now, there have been great ones. Let me tell you, there's been some great Beaujolais Nouveaux out there, and there's been some bad ones. But it's always a gamble. And they're not too awful much either. I mean, they're reasonably priced. But they are fun to get them every year. And they're great with turkey dinner. It's a Gamay, and so the Gamay is a little bit lighter, and it's a young wine, so it's a little bit lighter. So have it with the turkey, even though it is red. Have it with the turkey. So, Beaujolais Nouveau, if you can find it, used to be a big deal, but anymore I think it's fallen by the wayside. It's not, most people aren't even aware of what a Beaujolais Nouveau is. So, it's sad because they are good wines to have during the holiday season. Instead of having the champagne, if you want a red wine with turkey or duck or anything, the Beaujolais Nouveau is a good one. It might be a little bit light for a duck, but still, the turkey, the duck, all that. And pick up a Beaujolais Nouveau next Thursday. Next Thursday, I might stop by the store and see if my friend ordered any this year. And if he did, I'll pick up a bottle, have it with the show next week. So, that's it. We are done for November the 14th.
Yep.
Let me see who the guest is next week. Okay, that's the 14th. Rich Damon. Oh, this is from September the 26th. This is September 26th is when we had problems with the connection. Couldn't get through, so we rescheduled until today. So I don't know who he's from. Rescheduled from the 26th. Damon is our guest. I'll have to look that up and see who he is. Rich, and I can let you know, but let me get out of this and get out of this and go into this, and hopefully I can find him. Rich, there he is. And okay, let's see. Rich, there he is. Looks like the bottle bank partner. Damon sounds like a great guest. Okay, let's see. Count on the 26. Let's see who they are. Damon Roque, you might find his story interesting. Formerly in financial service, he makes a change in the mid-40s that needed to determine what to do next. And so he decided to risk it all, follow his passion, and attempt to innovate in two of the hardest industries out there, wine and hospitality. And Rich is his partner. So you got Damon and Rich. We have just begun the design construction process for a very ambitious wine-centric concept located in Atlanta called the Bottle Bank. So that's who's going to be our guest next week. I'll send out an email to them and confirm. But as it stands right now, Rich and Damon are going to be our guests next week, and they are
doing a wine-centric concept located in Atlanta called Bottle Bank. So, there you go. Next week's guest.
Sounds good. We will close the show for this evening at 8:10 p.m., 8:09, 8:10 p.m. And enjoy it. If you're listening to us on archives, thank you very much. And we will talk to you all on the 21st of November on Beaujolais Nouveau Day. So hopefully we'll have a report from Ron.
Hopefully I'll have a bottle.
He's, actually drinking some and give us a insight. It's interesting that the festivities or the celebration begins at 12:01 a.m. and in the vineyard and on the streets of France with wine flowing straight from the barrels.
Yeah.
Wow, how fresh can you get? That's it.
They get into it there too. They really it's something there in France. And it used to be a big thing here in the States, but I don't know. I seem like it's slowed down.
That's
but
we'll see. Maybe it'll pick up again. So we'll close the show for this evening. Thank you all for tuning in and for being with us. And we'll talk to you all next Thursday. Have a great week and the rest of the week and weekend ahead. And after that, we'll see you at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 21st November. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks. Be safe out there.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine with your host, Ron. For show information, links to All About Wine on Twitter and Facebook, or to be a guest on this show, visit the show website at www.allaboutwinebtr.com. Archive shows are available for download on iTunes or on our show page at blogtalkradio.com/allaboutwine. Thank you for listening. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time on All About Wine.